Welcome to KG5 on a frosty, windy old Friday night here for a doubleheader. The Safari Derby, Hobart Zebras taking on the Kingborough Lions. We'll start off in the Women's Super League with the champions of 2017 taking on the runners-up in the statewide cup this year. On the ladder, you'd make Zebras pretty firm favourites, but if you look at the form ladder over the last 7 weeks, Kingborough comfortably outperforming them, so I think they've got every chance of beating them as they did the last time they met. 4-3 on that occasion. You can see Kingborough really closing the gap to the Zebras, who have fallen away this year after that remarkable season. And Ulverston, who have a chance to just eclipse one of those records this weekend. They can make it 18 consecutive Super League wins, which would be more than the Zebras achieved last year with 17. So they were unable to stop them last week, were the Zebras. And they'll be looking to bounce back tonight against the Lions, a good young Lions side who are improving and have shown some good development this season. Joining me to call the action here this evening is Paul Hunter. Very good evening to you, sir. Good
evening, Andrew calling. Yes, it's perfect weather for penguins here at KGV Park. I know this is the Safari Derby, but it's temporarily migrated to Antarctica given the weather here tonight. It is a frosty old evening, but I'm sure we'll have plenty of action on the pitch. I was lucky enough to see Kingborough Lions women's team in action. Saw probably 3/4 of their game last week in their win against Taroona, and I thought they were very impressive, beating a team above them on the ladder and who beat them in the Jet Cup? No.
Statewide Cup.
Statewide Cup, yeah. Thought that was right. And getting some temporary revenge there, and they played some really good stuff down there at the Den, so I hope they can repeat it on the wide confines of KGV Park.
And this is the team they're going to have to get past tonight. The Hobart Zebras, and they welcome Monique Undy back into the squad tonight after quite a lengthy little European sojourn. She returns and will only be on the bench tonight, but they'll be glad to have her. Kayla Mason, you'd probably expect to line up at centre half. Lucy McGregor in midfield. Erin Delaney at full-back. Sarah Morris out on the wing. Alyssa Bowden. We've got Casey Ponting in the team, so she will be on field, as you'd imagine then. Of course, had a bit of a stint as a goalkeeper earlier in the season. Rachel Gill, formerly known as the Batman villain, no longer. She might be played out on the right, I think. We'll wait and see. Madison Graham, Zoe Nichols, who only just made the game. I caught her dashing through the car park about 5-10 minutes ago, so the mad rush after work, I think, there for Zoe Nichols, but they'll be delighted to have her up top. A quality striker, Janie Archer, Georgia Burt and Casey Ponting in goals. On the bench, Undy and Hill. So that is the stripy horses that line up for this evening. And we'll go on to the other half of the Safari Derby, the Kingborough Lions. And the thing that stands out and is very pleasing to see is on the bench there, number 14, Laura Davis, suffered what looked a pretty bad-looking knee injury a couple of weeks ago. So fantastic to see her back in the squad so soon after an injury that did at the time, I think, look like one that might have ended a season. So great news there. Olivia Gardner will be in goals. Madison James back into the lineup tonight. Probably lining up at fullback, I'd imagine. Izzy Dadswell playing defence. You've got Phoebe Clifford, had a good game in the statewide cup final. Emily Tatton has been one of the key players this season, and just questioning the lineup there because Laura Davis looks to be just sneaking onto the starting lineup in front of us on the field.
Known for that in women's football, we're just sneaking players onto team sheets and various things here.
Keep an eye on that, but she's definitely striding out there. So anyway, potentially the rest of the team. Number 7, Layla Hickman. Got a wonderful goal recently. Number 8, Izzy DeSmith. Number 10, Sammy Watkins has been in fantastic form down the wing. Ishka Mackay, Ali Lawson and Grace Furness. A couple will play at the back there. On the bench, Hennecum. That's a new name. I'm not familiar with her, I'm afraid. Number 9, Sophie Green. Laura Davis, who, as I said, is quite blatantly standing on the field next to a goalkeeper there. So wires crossed somewhere, and even better news for the Kingborough Lions, it would seem, Paul.
Yeah, very good news. Kingborough Lions having every single player out there for the customary handshakes, which is an interesting addition, and also confusing me as it looks like the Nia Hennecum is also one of the people who don't have the tracksuit top on, so I'm equally as confused, and we're really going to have to wait till the last couple of seconds here to figure this one out. But Kingborough last week playing a lot of pretty wide, expansive football down at the Den, and I think they'll look to stretch Zebras defenders and just try and draw players out of the middle. I think will be their best tactic for winning here. Zebras have got a real steal in the middle. Not saying Kingborough Lions are under strength by any stretch of the imagination, but the experience in the centre of the park. As
That's cruel.
That's gone flying. As the experience of Lucy McGregor in the middle of the park and Kayla Mason at centre back, and that's where they can really get on top of this Kingborough Lions team. And as we have a look at the coin toss, it's really, you can just tell by the referee's expression just how cold it is out there, practically shivering.
Yeah,
down there.
Certainly another element of the confusion. I better give you some forewarning on this one, Paul. Don't look at the Kingborough Lions numbers on their shorts. They've got a different pair of shorts to the kit they're wearing. So don't be deceived by those numbers. Just throw another spanner into the works here with...
I mean, fortunately for me, my eyesight is that bad. I can't make out the numbers on the shorts anyway. I can only see the one on the shirt, so that actually doesn't impact me in the slightest.
Well, I reckon we have got the starting lineup that was named. Laura Davis just inserting herself into the pre-game there. And look, I don't mind it. Get involved. A little unconventional, but run away.
Standing next to the goalkeeper for the handshakes and then on the subs bench. Peak Tasmanian football right there as we are underway here at KGV. It's going inside. We've got Sammy Watkins patrolling the centre of the park. Kayla Mason rocking the full-length leggings here tonight, and I personally don't blame her.
Oh, absolutely. That is the call to be made this evening. Layers upon layers is the answer as Emile Tatton weaves her way through the midfield, looking to get past Georgia Burt. Slides through a clever-looking ball. The cross comes in, but this should be easily gathered by Ponting. Ahead of, looks like Madison James might be taking up position in attack tonight, which is a slightly different role to which we've seen her previously in the Super League. But with Davis out, it looks like she's going to be the one charged with leading this Kingborough Lions attacking line tonight.
Yeah, the midfield for Kingborough is, as I have seen them recently, ball check here from the referee, not quite pumped up enough for that match ball, so we'll get a replacement for that. Madison James, I do recall playing in defence during the Statewide Cup final as well, and Kayla Mason there rocking those long leggings. It's certainly in bottom half. Just reminded me of what I'm soon to be seeing of Usain Bolt out in the field, where he used to kind of run in those ones and sprinting down the wing. It's a sight I'm going to have to get used to.
I want to pick your brain on that one a little bit later, Paul, being a Mariners man, as Sammy Watkins gets on the ball and works it forward, but straight to Lucy McGregor, goes back inside to Georgia Burt. Looks to spread the play, but there was no winger out there for it. And Morris was tucked inside. Looks like she's going to play down the right. Madison Graham appears to be lining up as the right back tonight. Aaron Delaney over at left back. Adam Powell does a bit of moonlighting as a referee in addition to his coaching. Just saying that ball is unacceptable. He won't be using that one. So down the line they go. Morris heads inside. Flicked backwards there, and then Graham played it forwards. Lions will have the aid of the wind at their backs in the second half. Looks like going to be tough sledding in this first half. The Hobart Zebras perhaps having an advantage there. Certainly not as windy as it was early in the day. It really looked like it could be a major factor then, but it's died down a little as the Lions run straight into the wall that is Alyssa Bowden. Goes back to Graham, and Graham's pass trying to pick out Morris and out for a throw in the Zebras' way.
It'll be interesting to see what the Zebras do. Obviously used to having the pace of Daniel kind of Geezer down at least one wing, and just going with a different option as Morris flicks on and can't quite find Bowden. Kingborough now going to look to counter with Watkins, looking inside to James, but nothing happening there. McGregor looks down the line but falls to Sammy Watkins. Now in the centre of the park, good tracking back there from Madison James. Again, a number 2 patrolling the centre forward area. Nice, not where you're used to seeing the number 2 patrolling a centre forward position. Not quite sure what I think about that.
Yeah, it's, I guess, acceptable when you've got an injury. I think the makeshift centre forward. Being told Daniel Kanagiza rolled the ankle at training last night, so a bit of a late out, and obviously quite the loss for the Zebras. Something they've had to contend with this year. She's had a few injury problems, as this one's nodded back down, and trying to win it back there was Bowden. And Sarah Morris comes charging through, running at this defence. Oh, well stood up there by Ishka Mackay. Wasn't going to let her charge on past. A good piece of defending.
Very well done from Ishka Mackay. Stood her ground very well. going to use the spare ball, which is the flat one. So I think hopefully someone's got a cheeky football pump down there on the sideline. It's Graham and Morris deliberate who will take the throw in and which ball to use. Graham, there's Morris. There's an option. Looks McGregor who's charging forward from defensive midfield, but that'll fall into the hands of Gardner. Looks up and there's a couple options out wide, but there really is a set of stripy zebras out there.
There is, as Gardner just opts to bomb this one long. He'll probably be quite happy to fight their way to a draw at half-time, given the wind at the Zebras' backs. Certainly been in better form than the Zebras over the last round. It was really the last time they met that Kingborough's season came alive. They entered that game, I think it was after 9 games. They were 1-8 was their record at that point. They've gone 4-1-2 in their last 7 since. So really picked things up with that 4-3 win over the Zebras last time around. Really ignited their season and pulled them from potential relegation to suddenly pushing up towards where Zebras are on the table. And they've played some good football. Certainly the form of Davis and Watkins has been key to that up front. And Tatton in the midfield as Gill works this one forward to Zoe Nichols, who turns and charges at Mackay here. Ball off the back of her feet, and then Nichols slides it through, but no one was making the run through the middle. Easily gathered by Gardner.
Yeah, just needed to hold off the tad there, Nichols. And immediately looked there, that's nearly going to be intercepted. Chasing back is Nichols. Actually turned over. Bode strokes it towards Morris, but getting in first. And the Kingborough Lions, it's likely to the skill. Down the sideline, then a poor pass straight to Graham, who's tucked in to a more central position at the moment. Sammy Watkins now with a chance on this left wing. She's got a good turn of pace on her. Does Watkins, looks for the 1-2, and well cut out there from Lucy McGregor. Really looking to attack down this near sideline so far. Both teams striding forward to take the throw towards Watkins. Lawson back out from the Zebras. It's Morris. They'll look to turn the screw a little here, but just goes all the way back into defence. Whoa, well intercepted from Maddie James. Trying to get across is Kayla Mason, can't quite get there. Ball swung in, but well cleared eventually. I think a free kick's looks like it's been given. Kayla Mason clearly clipping an ankle or something like that after the play there. It's on Isabella DeSmit.
Gives Layla Hickman the chance to conjure something from the set piece. Shown herself quite proficient over the dead ball. What can she produce here for the Lions? Not much at all. Just smashes that one over the top. I think perhaps overestimating the strength of the wind on that occasion.
I think just wanted to float that one kind of in the air and put the keeper under some pressure, but certainly overhit that one as we now have a goal kick for the Zebras.
Working it out, it was a dicey goal kick straight to Hickman. Lucky not to have turned that one over. And go out for a throw in there on the far side in 10 minutes of this game. Expecting a fairly evenly matched contest here this evening. Nearly indicated, that's what we're going to get.
Yeah, certainly agree with that one. And we can't use the ball on the halfway line as it needs bumping up. So
I don't really know why they keep rolling back to this one, Paul.
No.
Just get rid of the damn thing.
There is a perfectly good grandstand and storeroom and all that under here. It's surely can't be that difficult.
I thought so. We've hopefully seen the last of that one, although it's sitting out on the near touchline, so probably not. Gill works this one forward. Zoe Nichols takes it on the turn, and this is where she thrives. Zoe Nichols looking to thread one through for Bowden. Unable to pick her out, but she's so good at just turning, rolling her defender. The best in the business at that, and she's also excellent at winning the ball back, which she does right here. Works it to Bowden. Bowden tries to return it. So Nichols, back defensive work rate on the Zebra striker. Bowden to Nichols. In the Lions defence doing just about enough there. Furness impacting the play. Zebras still keep a hold of it. Delaney sends it wide for Gill. Gill takes it inside for Zoe Nichols. Deflected off her Gardner will just let that one roll for a goal kick.
They're really starting to miss Lucy Johnson here, Hobart Zebras, just with having a number 9 type presence. Zoe Nichols is very hard work of it, tends to be tracking back and sort of pressuring defenders rather than making forward runs, which obviously can still lead to goals, but it doesn't quite have as dynamic an outfit up top as we have a chance here for Nichols. Headed clear by Clifford. Falls eventually to Gilbert, given away. McGregor gets a toe in. It's now Georgia Bird hits it. Comfortably claimed by Gardner.
May not be the worst thing for them long term though, not having Lucy Johnson. I really got the impression this Zebras team will be becoming too Johnson-centric this season. Last year they were a diverse way of scoring. They built a lot of goals through the midfield as Watkins gets on it. This year I just felt they were a little bit too much. Give it to Lucy and see what she can do. And yeah, it's a pretty good method for winning games, but you sometimes need a little bit more than that. And she's absent, you really notice it. So I think this inter-year period might hold them in good stead for next year.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially as there's not really anything to play for the Zebras in terms of ladder position. They're comfortably mid-table, very Stoke-esque this year, the Zebras. And they'll eventually work it out through Graham. As far as Morris, a bit of a heavy touch, but no immediate pressure. Nearly given away. James putting Mason under pressure. Tatton just bounces over the head, now it falls to Furness. Now Watkins tries to play it out, and then Graham deflects it off her foot. But yeah, it'll be good for some of the Zebras players to try players in different positions, and I guess just working on a plan B, because as you say, they've most of the games this year they've really only had plan A. As good a plan A as it is.
Yeah, it's probably part of the reason why we've seen them drop off slightly among other factors. This will be thrown in on the left wing here through Lawson. Sends it in the Watkins direction. She nods it on, but she'll be cleaned up by Archer. Partnering Mason in this Zebras defence tonight. Mason's settled down in central defence in recent times. He's played a number of different positions throughout her time over the past couple of years.
Yeah, from what I've seen from her, I think her ideal position is right back, but certainly very able in central defence as we've seen over the last few weeks. McGregor gets it to Archer, eventually just thumps it clear, but only as far as the Kingborough Lions. Now looking down the wing, inside. Good turn there from Tatton and fires. Good save. Ponting, I think, in the end.
Yeah, gets a piece of it, Casey Ponting, and that is almost a fantastic goal there from Emil Tatton. He just danced through. No, it wasn't a good save, as it turns out. It's going to be a goal kick.
I'll plead pole in the way for that one.
Well, I guess it's a tough one if you're a goalkeeper. You want the credit for the save. You don't want to give away a corner. We'll have a look at the replay here. Tatton trying to pick out the far corner, and yeah, I don't think she did get a piece of that one. I think it just floated away there, and ball was spinning that direction. But it must be a conflicting one as a keeper, because you want the credit for the save if you've made it, but you don't really want to go gifting the other team a corner.
No.
Obviously, the team thing would be to say I didn't get a piece of it, but I'm not sure that's how most goalkeepers operate. If I'm being honest, Madison James forces a turnover, and they might be made to pay with Tatton lurking. Mason has the wheels first the ball and watches it over the line, but it'll be a corner here, and they're getting themselves into a little bit of trouble playing out from the back so far here, the Zips.
Yeah, they're determined to do it despite the wind conditions and the rain now starting to come across from that side. Yeah, goalkeepers are a unique breed and like to claim credit where possible. Doesn't matter if it's outdoor or indoor, most goalkeepers are the same.
Absolutely. Fine bunch of people, Paul, as this one's going to be swung into the mixer. It doesn't get the purchase she's after there. And given the wind's blowing the other direction, it's a bit of a head scratch of that one.
Yeah, maybe just frankly just miscued off the corner kick, just rather than no wind or anything to speak of. Archer's in a fair bit of space here if they want to play it out short. This time they go long. Goes long. Eventually folds to Nichols. Gives it away to Tatton. Going through the middle. Tatton finds Sammy Watkins. Burt doing what she does best and calmly passing the ball forward. Falcon alerts on that one there, and that's going to see the trainer come on.
Yeah, Furness feeling that one. But a nasty Falcon. Absolutely clobbered from close range. Referee just bringing it to a stop there. As you do when there's head injuries, and she's copped that flush from very close range there. She may no longer be the Batman villain, but quite villainous stuff there from Rachel Gill. Just smacking her in the face.
Yeah. Still got to have a teeny bit of villain in you, even when you become a Gill.
So both teams will take the opportunity to gather together and bring on some refreshments and just talk through these opening 15 minutes. How have you seen the first 15 here, Paul? They seem really dominating, aren't they?
No, I mean, it's fantastic. As I thought, Zebra's still trying to play the way we've seen them go through the last few years, through the centre of the park, and especially through their midfield trio in the middle, Bowden, McGregor and Burt, plenty of experience in there. And then Kingborough with a little more youth on their side, looking to go down the wings, and Tatton and Watkins have probably been on the ball more than anyone else so far in this match, I'd say, and it's the most promising.
Yeah, I think when Tatton's been able to carry the ball through the middle, they have looked at their best, and such a key attacking weapon for this Kingborough side, the main creator in that midfield group. As Damien Gill just suggesting this was purely tactical, just take out one of the opposition players. So that's a bit of a stretch, buddy.
Like I said, you've got to have a bit of villain in you when you become a kid.
Well, maybe he's embracing the villain if that's the case, but good to see that Grace Furness seems to be all right, wandering off now. Just a little bit dazed, but hopefully she'll be right to continue. A smile now, so that's a good sign, I'd have thought. Kingborough should be able to get back to their full complement of players. The drop ball, I imagine, will just be given straight back here. Georgia Burt. Formalities observed, knocks it along to Gardner.
Didn't quite get the formality of the round of applause from the enormous crowd here at KGB.
Good night for a live stream, I think. not the nicest night to be out at the football. This one's through there to Archer. Archer works it to Bowden. Bowden back to Burt. Burt now to Nichols. This is good flowing stuff here from the Zebs. Leaning in is Zoe Nichols. She's taking it wide. This is some good defending from Mackay. Forced her well wide where she didn't have much support. That's really well defended there. Just wins the battle, and it'll be a throw in the Zebra's way. So took her from a very dangerous position to a position not particularly threatening as Graham tries to work something from out there. Lead by Gill, and clearance fortunately goes straight to Hickman. Hickman then hit Watkins, but deflected straight to Graham. Tight confines, they look to work it inside to Lucy McGregor. That's a sharp turn back into space. Drops it off for Bowden, slides it through for Bird. Clever first touch and then fires one from range, but comfortably gathered there by Olivia Gardner.
It'll count as a shot on target, something we haven't seen too much of in the first 17 minutes as Gardner gets a bit of distance on that. James plucks it out of the air, back to Watkins. Furness gets it out wide to Lawson, who's drifting inside looking for the run. Kayla Mason deals with that one well. McGregor brings it down off the chest. And it's Morris battling with Lawson. Back to, unfortunately, Phoebe Clifford just not quite getting the angles correct there with Lawson. We'll go out for a throw in. Graham line to Morris, gets the return ball and hoofs it high into the sky. That's surely a foul on the Kingborough defender there. There was very little attempt to play the ball there from Zoe Nichols. Not quite sure if we even got that one.
I think it was Gill.
It was Gill in the end, just blatantly running into it.
Just a wrecking ball out there at the moment is Rachel Gill. Smacking Falcons into people and charging into them. She is just causing a little bit of havoc at the moment out there. Bringing the physical pressure and just keeping the young Lion Cubs on their toes. There's a free kick, quite obviously blown, and they'll get restarted with a chip in the Watkins direction. Knocks it back, and then they try to go wide, and sets a bit of a task there for Lawson. Couldn't beat out Graham, and launches the throw in. It's a good one, but it just sailed over the head of Morris. Georgia Burt couldn't get to it, and Tatton takes it inside. Good defensive work again from Zoe Nichols working back. Now wide is Dadswell. Dadswell works it further afield to De Schmidt. De Schmidt now tries to spring Tatton. She's quick. I don't know if she's that quick. She's going to give it a red-hot chase here, and she does ever so well, Tatton. And as she got the corner to go, that she's done exceptionally well because she was set quite the task there.
Certainly was, and certainly from position on the camera, you thought it was going to roll out at any minute, but it clearly must have been curling the other way. Well, Mason had to get a foot in there, and Kingborough, and plenty of players forward here for the corner kick. This one going near post, flicked on by Hickman, but unfortunately only as far as out of play for a goal kick. Stacey Ponting on collection duty, as we've now got at least 7 hardy souls behind the goal there, with the rugs and blankets and all sorts there trying to keep warm.
Yeah, a few people were inside when I was over there. I think that's probably the ideal spot to be setting up at KG5 this evening for this table header. Or indeed just at home with the heater on, listening to our dulcet tones, Paul.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even better. As we get to see a goal through 20 minutes, and both teams a couple of moments each in attack, but no one really completely dominating. Zebras, you'd think, would have the advantage in this first half due to the wind, as this one's worked forwards again. Let's see how much of a factor that might be, as Gardner just leaves that one behind and has to go collect again. The Zebras pressing up the field on Gardner here. He's tries to launch one in the middle. Burt tried to take it down and knocks it out of play.
Yeah, not quite getting that one down on a dime, Georgia Burt. Lawson will take the throw in. Looks down the line. Turning inside is Tatton. Got Burt for company. Lovely turn again from Tatton. Finds Watkins. Graham, it's been probably the contest of the match so far. Watkins versus Graham. Georgia Burt battling, and Janie Archer tries to clear. Watkins now pressuring Graham. It's going to be up to the referee to decide on this one, and it'll be a Kingborough throw-in. Taken by Lawson, who's looked to push on a bit more the last 5 or so minutes. Into the head of James. Miscued clearance from Mason, and in the end, safety first from Archer. Concedes another corner. 21 minutes gone here. That's KG5 Park. Striding across to take the corner is Layla Hickman. About 5 in the box to aim for. Gets plenty of purchase on this one, but well cleared by the Zebras, only as far as Dadswell. Dadswell, I think, was aiming for James there, but couldn't quite get enough curl on that one. There'll be another goal kick for the Zebras.
Yeah, rinse and repeat at the moment. No clear goal scoring chances for either team as of yet. A couple of pops from distance, but nothing I think you'd be looking at and saying that should have been a goal, or certainly nothing that would be impacting your expected goals chart if we were going down that avenue. I don't think either team would be particularly high on that as of yet.
Bring XG to WSL. This is a new campaign.
Yeah, probably need a few more seasons worth of data. It's of course only its second full season with the pilot year. As the Lions might be on here, a great chance for Tatton charging in behind. Mason making up the ground, brings it to the deck and has got enough for the ball. And it'll be a corner, so Mason came storming back there to make the challenge. Tatton in full flight. Brought down, not many defenders would have caught up here as we have a look at the replay. And Mason now goes through the leg. Doesn't seem to get a bit of ball, but gets a fair bit of leg there.
Biased defender alert. I think she got the ball there.
Yeah,
I think that was a wonderful challenge.
I think that's good enough. I think you've got to be able to give them the room to slide in.
Came in from the side to start with. Certainly got some bowlers. It was clear misdirection. Didn't go right through the back, so I'm okay with that.
Yep, I think we're agreed well, on that one. Certainly live, I thought. Yeah, good challenge. Always a tough one for the referee, and he's done nicely there. The Lions on the attack here. Could easily go to the good if Mason doesn't make that challenge. Here's Tatton again, turning onto that right foot, shadowed by Bowden. Now it's a chance here. It's Mason with another crucial foot in, another shout for a penalty. Nothing doing again for Emil Tatton. Mason for the second time in a minute stops her.
I'm looking forward to the How to Tackle by Kayla Mason box set coming out soon. Two absolute peelers in the last minute from the Zebras centre back. Real class actors. You see the throw-in taken long. Nichols managing to control it, but well cleared by Furness. Now Georgia Burt striding forward. They're in here, the Zebras. First touch to go around the keeper, but Olivia Gardner stopping Sarah Morris in a tracks there.
Yeah, showed good strength there. The two just charging at it. Gardner with a big stop. The Zebras' best chance of the game there for Morris. Now Watkins. This game starting to open up a tad now. There's Watkins with a rather sloppy touch. Turning and running wide there, but could so easily be 1-0 to either team after that last couple of minutes.
They finally managed to get that through ball, straight through ball and diagonal run off the striker working there, the Zebras, and Olivia Gardner really had to come off the line quickly there. As he crosses Nichols. Eventually cleared from Lawson. And just to win the throw as well. Ellie Lawson doing well, taking it to the Chief, Sammy Watkins. Forward, but can't get the return ball. Just thought I'd drop that obscure nickname, completely not relevant nickname there for Sammy Watkins.
What you run with, sorry? I was updating
the Chief.
The Chief. Oh, hang on a sec. That is quite niche as Gardner comes out to get this one. I'm sure most of the audience has no idea what you're getting at with there. I think American football people is this one.
Oh, we have a huge crossover audience between WSL and NFL.
No doubt. No doubt. The demographics on the Venn diagram. Perfect little loop in the middle. This one's worked wide to Isabel de Smit. Tries to send it forwards. Offside flag raised against Tatton here, and she turned and gone straight past the defender too. So frustration for Emil Tatton, which has probably summed up her last 5 minutes. It's been 5 minutes where she's threatened to break this one open, but just being held at bay. Zoe Nichols again rolls that turn and threads it through for Morris, who's offside. He's not aware of it and runs through, and Gardner did just enough to keep her out anyway, but the flag is straight up there. But you can see that they're really trying to execute that exact same move time and time again, aren't they, Paul? Nichols turns, threads it through for Morris making that run.
Yeah, it's a clear game plan, and again, Sarah Morris, very good player, but probably doesn't quite have the turn and acceleration of Danielle Kanagiza would usually be in that position. And certainly making the runs and getting in behind Lawson and Clifford. And just on that offside before on Tatton, thought Archer did exceptionally well stepping up, causing that offside. Was sitting about 2 to 3 yards deeper than Mason and saw the opportunity to get an offside and stepped up well. So full credit to Archer on that occasion. He's storming forward. And another through ball. It's Zoe Nichols, takes a touch. Can she shoot? She can, but can't get enough power on it. Can Nichols, and Olivia Gardner stands her ground and does well.
Well done to Janie Archer again, and even better bit of play there to follow up. Creates the chance to split the defence in half there. Sent Zoe Nichols in on goal. Couldn't quite beat Gardner from the angle. Just not quite getting enough on the shot in the end, but the Zebras just starting to warm to the task here a little. And starting to create a few holes at the back. This one's just whacked rather aimlessly forward by Graham, but Zoe Nichols starting to have a bit of an impact on things here. And the centre-backs a few problems.
I think she's starting to hold against, like higher up against the centre-backs a bit more the last 10 minutes. It was really dropping off and playing quite a false nine type role, and it's really sticking high on the defenders the last 10 minutes. I think that's what's helped this change. Gardner launches forward to Watkins. Slightly heavy touch and turns it to Lawson, who tried to get the throw in off the foot of Morris, but nothing happening there as Graham looks in the direction of Nichols, turns well, tries to thread it through, but not quite getting on the end of it. There's Alyssa Bowden. She's now got a chance. Can she get on the right foot? But well cleared from Hickman, and Alyssa Bowden really charging forward from centre mid there.
Yeah, impacting this one again. The turn of Zoe Nichols, defenders in the way. Couldn't quite pick out Bowden.
think Furness got a touch to that as well to take it off the toe of Bowden as well. So again, good defensive play.
Now Hickman trying to carry it out of defence. Looks up and curls a lovely ball into the middle for Tatton, and things opening up ahead over here. It's Emil Tatton charging forward for the Lions. Lucy McGregor did really well to work back in defence, and that's not dealt with at all well at the back. Mason with another vital last-ditch intervention, recover the situation. They'll dodge another bullet. Again, Emil Tatton threatening. And the game really starting to open up. You get the feeling the game's opening goal's not too far away here.
I'll be shocked if there's not a goal by half-time to either side in this match. Really starting to go to plan as that one's knocked off Dadswell for a throw-in. Gill, who hasn't attempted to injure anyone in the last 10 minutes, which is good to see.
Go grab the throw in here, and now perhaps just paying for the... No, don't you throw that ball back on Powley. Just stop. We can wait. Go pump it up or something.
I mean, surely
how many people they need on the sideline when someone goes and gets a pump?
Surely one of those, 3 referees for the next game, or some of the staff, or some of the Zebras players for the next game could just pump that ball up.
Georgia Burt looking to make some inroads. A clever little move that from Georgia Burt. Pass blocked off and spills behind for a goal kick. And product not quite there. The sharp little one way than the other move was stylish from Burt, but unable to unlock the defence with the low cross. Gardner. The slightly unconventional goalkeeping approach. Normally they're obsessed about getting every last centimetre they possibly can. Gardner just thinking, it's a few centimetres matter. Perhaps a more sensible approach, some would suggest.
That borderline golf tee that they try and create on the 6-yard line there. Not worrying about that is Gardner. Quick turnover here. Zebras tries to turn and well cut out there from Grace Furness, conceding the corner, but really had to in that situation.
Clever little reverse pass from Zoe Nichols there. Corner ball coming up. Georgia Burt will take it. 3 Zebras waiting back on the halfway mark. Just about everyone back in the Lions' defensive box. As you can see, the rain just...
Don't you wish you were out here, everyone at home?
Teeming down now. It really is just diabolical conditions for the players this evening as Burt swings this one in. Gardner comes and fumbles it, and here's a big chance. Kept off the line brilliantly. That's super defending. Quite catch who that is, but that is absolutely saved a goal. And I think it's Izzy Dadswell.
I have no idea how that didn't go in from about 3 yards out. At least 2 Kingborough Lions players stuck a leg out as we have another look. Fumbled from Gardner. Mason coming in. Turns, little toe poke and off the line. I've got to say, is that Dadswell? Yeah, number 3.
It was Dadswell.
Dadswell has done exceptionally well there. At absolute full stretch. I would have pulled a groin muscle trying to stop that one.
Yeah, that's one of the best saves I've seen all season, coming from a defender and a goalkeeper. It's an outstanding reflex block on the line. And must have thought they'd scored there, the Zebs. Here's Lucy McGregor. They might get their goal anyway as they probe around the area. Here's Madison Graham. Didn't like what she saw further afield, so swings it back to Archer. Archer to Graham. That's a poor pass. Great to Tatton. They're not going to be made to pay though, and she'll get another chance. And this time hits Morris, who can get it first there, and it's going to be a Zebras throw in.
Didn't think that went out of play, but the assistant referee's a lot closer than I am as Graham launches that one forward, but cleared by Clifford. Trying to turn in the middle of the park is Tatton. Eventually McGregor comes across, but Tatton turns again. And he's got 1 or 2 up in front, and we'll get the ball back. So now Hickman trying to find Watkins. Morris tracking back and using a body well, but it'll be a Kingborough throw in. Watkins doing just enough to use the pace of the ball to win a throw. Lawson getting in front. Here's Alyssa Bowden. Lawson again. Played down this near touchline as much as the first 20 minutes have the Lions. Also disappointing there were no Cubs out there for the pre-match ceremony.
It is an away game, to be fair.
It is.
I'd be perhaps asking where the miniature zebras are.
Well, true. What do you call a miniature zebra?
Is it just a pony?
A zeb?
I don't know. If you're tuning in the live stream and you're a big...
Please comment.
Yeah.
What's an image?
Tatton turning now, and here's a chance to shape to shoot. Bowden shadowed it pretty well and forced her to pass it away. The Zebras holding firm at the back as Furness goes back to Dadswell, who made that huge stop on the line. This one deflects straight to the path of Mason, who charges after it and just whacks that one away. Clears the area and will get a bit of territory and allow the defence just to push out a little.
Do you reckon that's plausible for save of the season contender, Dadswell? Like, can it go into that category?
Yeah, talking to the man who would determine it, so sure, why not?
Yeah, good. I'm glad we can make that executive decision here on Slice of Cheese as the throw in from Dadswell. Looking to find teammate, but not quite ending up there, and Gill launches that one long. In the centre of the park to the captain, Georgia Bird. Now Graham will track down from Watkins, gets the unintended nutmeg, but doesn't quite do any more, and then that one is a bit of a mix-up between Watkins and Lawson.
Maybe Zebra, I'm told, is called a foul. I'd say thank you, but I should probably be thanking Google, I suspect. But no, well done. A foul. There you go, the more you know. The Lions on the ball here, and they work it centrally. That's a dicey ball because there were three Zebras in pretty close proximity. Burt can't make them pay, though. This one just eludes Watkins, and Graham will let it run out. 2 minutes to go before the half. Still locked at 0-0. Zebras really have the better of the half as it's worn on, but the Lions have had a few good moments for a great Cara Mason challenge. Could very easily be trailing in this one. Turning again is Zoe Nichols. Burt just pulled out and left a space to run into. Might have been better served attacking the ball. Here's Gill. Back to Tenacious D. Delaney. That one steered away. Lions under pressure though. Gill wins it back nicely. Crosses in. Here's a chance for Morris. Onto the woodwork, and the volley followed up and absolutely buried by Zoe Nichols. And the Hobart Zebras do take the lead. Zoe Nichols has worked her socks off for this first 36 minutes. Gets a very much deserved goal.
Yep, very deserved goal there for Zoe Nichols. Congratulating the entire team there, and really good reflex there after the initial effort from Morris. Hits the crossbar. Gardner did well to close down the angle. And the rebound as we see Gill doing magic down the sideline. Morris just trying to loft that over the keeper, but hitting the crossbar, and first time Nichols makes no mistake, and we thought there would be a goal before half time, and it goes the way of the Zebras, and now Archer having to come across. Does well to clear that one on rushing Watkins, putting her under pressure. Also just on foal, I mean that just seems lazy. I mean, surely the horse foal name came before the zebra foal name.
Well, yes, technically it is a horse.
Yeah.
We do call the stripy horses for a reason.
It's just lazy, in my opinion.
Yeah, well.
Tell I'm not a zoologist, though.
Perhaps some more creativity could have been applied to that process, as Tatton is dispossessed by Lucy McGregor, spills the way of Bird, who punches it away, and a chance now for Tatton, who was played just behind. Oh, well done, Lucy McGregor, won it back nicely. And then passes to Georgia Bird. Under pressure is Burt. Back to Graham, and pressing there from Hickman. Forces throw in. Backs him up a little. Perhaps an opportunity here for field position as was worked in by Lawson. And attacks the ball. Loden most decisively. Smashes that one into touch.
Nearly another Falcon there. Tatton's face was about 2 inches away from that clearance from Bowden. It's now Lawson launches it down the line. Well cleared from Graham. Burness and Hickman all between them to deal with that one. Sammy Watkins moved a bit more centrally. Trying to play the first time ball towards Zoe Nichols. Ishka Mackay will comfortably claim that one. Back to the keeper. Searching for options is Gardner. Eventually works it back to Dadswell. Mackay threads the needle there between two Zebras players. I don't think they were quite expecting it. Tatton gets the ball back. Got to Smith for company. It's well cleared in the end from Darren Delaney on the far side. Back to Tatton. Again, and willing runner down the line, but just can't quite. The pass has taken a deflection off the Zebras player. 5 minutes to go in the half for the Kingborough Lions to try and get an equaliser. Probably on the balance of play, it's been a pretty even game.
Yeah, I felt the Zebras have probably worked their way on top, and I do expect a slight advantage to them this half due to the wind. Although it's a swirling breeze at times, but certainly favouring the Zebras, if anyone. Just generally awful for everyone, the weather. As the Lions try to forge across here, but Mason across to defend that one. She's had a good game so far. There's Mason. Delaney take the throw in. The rain is getting heavier and heavier at the moment as we tick towards the half, and thrown down the line. Hickman working back. Wins a good header. And that's some really tidy work there from DeSmith. DeSmith's still going. And ran into Gill. And just forced her to retreat. Chipped into the middle. Bit of a chaos ball, that one. Coming back through was Bowden. Then Mason to Morris, who just stood over the top of it. Now has to hustle after this one. Has Watkins for company. Or Lawson, sorry. And she surges past to her. They should be able to deal with it. It is, though, by Phoebe Clifford at the back there.
Bit annoyed with herself there, Sarah Morris, but I thought she did quite well. It was just that extra touch in the slope of the pitch down there causing her issues. Chris Hay striding out, issue some instructions. Lawson again looking to find Tatton, but well cleared from Alyssa Bowden. Morris, deflection was as far as McGregor. Now Archer just puts her foot through that one and turning is Zoe Nichols. And I think between the keeper, surely that was going to roll out for a goal kick. Unless there was a deflection there we didn't see. That play was rolling out harmlessly for a goal kick.
A curious decision, that one from Mackay, as Nichols again just shielding the ball and trying to work it over there to Morris. The tallest of players, Nichols, but she uses her frame really cleverly. Just shields defenders from the ball, keeps them off it, and then rolls them. Done that one a number of times throughout this first half here. G5, and has the goal that has her side ahead as we tick towards half time. Gill across here trying to win it back. Taking inside though is Dadswell. Dadswell puts Gardner under the pump there. Responds pretty well, the keeper. Not much you could do with that. Really had to hustle after it. And, they've been their own worst enemy at times tonight. Some of the under-hit passes coming out from the back, the Lions. Delaney. For Gill. Hickman steps in.
Launches that one into the Gabriel Marquez Memorial fence.
Yes, yes. A little pluck.
Yeah, I think so. Proper, ribbon cutting, ceremonial unveiling before the season's out, I think.
Yeah, ceremonial banana. Gill. We'll take the throw in here. Which is this one over ahead, but eventually Clifford works it away. It's Gabriel Marquez, his troops will be in action after this game. Double header out of KG5 tonight. The same teams meeting in the NPL Tasmania. Teasing little ball, that one from Lucy McGregor. And now Lawson, the battle with an opposite number, Zoe Nichols. He's unable to win the corner.
And that time lets the ball run out of play for a goal kick. The Lions defence. Gardner. Now, this time a little more precise with the goal kick precision on the line. It's long to James, who seems to have moved out to the left wing, swapping with Watkins. McGregor getting the Cole to pass it back. Does well, finds Archer. Touch forward from Bowden, but well cut out by Tatton. Back to Clifford. Finds James. Turn from Zoe Nichols. It just runs out of real estate on the near sideline. Lawson little too much air on that one, and goes as far as McGregor. Mackay now nearly taking out the teammate, but then finding Tatton, who launches long for the pacey Sammy Watkins. Kayla Mason, no slouch herself with a turn of pace. And just about does enough, does Kayla Mason. Doing well, the centre back. Just giving the Lions some hope with a minute to go. Striding forward is Dadswell. Tatton, who's covered plenty of ground so far in this first half. Just runs into all of Lucy McGregor, who hesitates to start with. Furness. Back to Tatton. We've got a whole lot of options. Looks to Hickman. Furness out wide to James. A patient build up here from the Lions. Still aiming to knock it round. Clifford with a heavy touch and getting in here. It's 3v1 for the moment. Sarah Morris down the right hand side. Nichols in the centre of the box. Looks in that direction but overhit from Morris. And a roll out for a goal kick. A prime opportunity there for the Zebs.
Yeah, really opened up there at the back. It was a massive opportunity. They were breaking 3v1. Just took a little bit wide and good recovery speed by Dadswell anyway. Charging back there, and might be the end of the scoring for the first half at 1-0. Tough to judge, really. We need to have a bit of a look in the second half before we know how meaningful the advantage is for the Zebras heading this way, but it seemed to have impacted the match too much that I've noticed. The passing doesn't seem to be holding up in the wind at all, even though the flag has been blowing quite solidly. Gardner's goal kicks have been a little bit shorter perhaps, so we'll see if that changes in the second half, but the Zebras still have time to add another before then. Lucy McGregor trying to make something happen. Lions win it back. Chip down the line for Emil Tatton. Tatton has a couple bursting through the middle in Watkins and James if she can get around Georgia Burt. That's easier said than done. Burt and Mason conspire to see it away from her, but a throw in a good position and storming up here to take it as Dadswell, sensing that she hasn't got long left here. We've gone a minute 20 at a time, so I thought there'd be a heap more as this one might go behind for a corner. It will, so they're going to get one last opportunity here at the Kingborough Lions. It's going to be Dadswell to take it as the driving rain gets worse. It's a ball into the near post, and Mason going in there, heads it away, and we'll have one more look.
Never-ending stoppage time. I guess we did have that Falcon earlier that took a minute or two. Dadswell goes to the near post and eventually cleared it. Falls to the top of the box, and Hickman, quite frankly, shanks that one. Falls back to McGregor. Looking inside. Now Watkins. Archer for company. Watkins does well. Sammy Watkins tries to play it side to Tatton. Surely this will be the end of the first half. And the whistle is blown for half-time here. Hobart Zebras leading the Lions 1-0, and been a pretty even game, but Zebras just probably created more direct shots on target and attacking opportunities, you'd have to say.
Yeah, I think they probably do deserve to be up by a goal heading into the break off the basis of what we've seen. Pretty tight first 20 minutes as it wore on. It was the Zebras looking more likely. Hasn't been a game filled with chances. Certainly Kingborough will believe they have every chance in the second half, as they should. There's still plenty to keep them excited, but this was the moment. The only goal of the half. Lovely ball in there from Gill. Morris couldn't quite finish it. Did the lifting over the keeper a bit nicely, but just a bit too much on it. Fortunately, buttering up was Zoe Nichols, who executes a fantastic volley and gives the Zebras the lead at half-time. So we'll be back in around about 15 minutes' time with the second half here from KG5. And then I've got to go and when he's defending.
When's the takeover?
Well, that's why I'm playing. Whether it works, I don't know.
Why aren't you home with your beautiful wife?
Absolutely.
Always get hurt.
Especially with these bloody Friday night games. Saturday evening. Like, oh no!
Yeah, that's what I'm about that. I'd like to have a life. I don't really want to do it for 158 games a season. Oh my god.
See what that's worth. In the second half, as we're about to get underway. The whole slightly less game than before the break, but still pretty tough out there. And we're underway as looks to be very fires on straight to the back of our own teammate there, hitting Bowden. In the middle, and now it's picked up by Hickman, given to the dangerous Watkins, who The defence, Tatton gets involved there, works it back to Watkins, maintains her balance, then all into the box here. She's picking up a hit of steam, is going to run out of room. This boxer out there, but it's always a threat when she starts running at the defence. Sally Watkins can be a real guard breaker.
Certainly can, and looks like starting the second half on the wing as she did in the first half. Moved to a more central position as the half wore on. Goal kick taken from Archer. Gets good purchase on it. Finds Bowden. Back to McGregor. Lucy McGregor going forward to the goal scorer, Nichols. Morris just being beaten out there by Dadswell. Another opportunity here. Goes to the far side of Dadswell. Still going is Nichols and getting a toe in. Eventually is Furness. Nichols still working back. Manages to take it off Furness and a toe in from Ishka Mackay. Out to DeSmith. Again, Danswell cleans up and will calmly stroke it back to her keeper, Gardner. Just can't quite find Ellie Lawson. Good early pressure applied by the Zebras.
4-3 the last time these two teams met at KG5. Absolute cracking game. Will we get a similarly exciting conclusion today? The Lions took that one right at the death on that day as McGregor tries to get in behind, but Hickman crossed to put it into touch for the throw in. Graham, who's got quite the launch on her if she wants to go for the long heave into the box. Goes over the head of Zoe Nichols. Should be cleared away there by Mackay, and was. Only as far as Burt. He's on the ball and plays it back here for Archer. Janie Archer. Picked off though by Furness. Furness runs into a little bit of trouble, and this might open things up for Zoe Nichols, who turns and fires and hits the back of the net. Oh, pouncing on the error and making them pay to the full extent. That's brilliant, Zoe Nichols.
Oh, lovely turn and roll of the defender from Zoe Nichols and rifles that shot underneath Gardner. An early strike in this second half. Well, the Hobart Zebras given away in the centre of the park there from Furness. And Zoe Nichols falling as she hits it, but getting enough power on that left peg to stroke it home. 2-0 and another uphill battle for the Lions. As we saw, given away again, and the Zebras are on here. Morris looks inside to Nichols on a hat-trick now, Zoe Nichols. Eventually from James, who appears to have gone back to a more defensive position than centre forward, where we sort of start the first half. And that one's exceptionally ambitious for Neil Tatton.
And that goal, just Nichols with the turn again. We saw her about half a dozen times in that first half with that exact same move. Gets the contact with the defender, and then good night. You're not going to stop her at that point, and it's an absolute rocket of a shot. Doubles the advantage, and you just can't afford to turn the ball over in those type of areas. Sooner or later, you're going to be made to pay. Burt works it up there for Nichols. Now Gill. Back Clifford. Gardner should be able to get to this one first. Does so before Morris can arrive, and maybe Lawson unable to keep it in play. But an ideal start for the Zebras, getting that early goal, doubling the advantage. It really is tough for the Lions now, facing that 2-goal hurdle as opposed to 1. Tough sledding for them from here on as Graham is looking for Nichols again, a real focal point of everything. Bowden takes it down. Will Morris or Gardner get there first? It's the keeper. She'll quickly get the Lions moving.
Thrown behind DeSmith there by Gardner, who's looking to turn Tenacious D, Aaron Delaney, as well to shield that one out of play. The Lions look to have a couple little tactical tweaks in the second half. Seeing Tatton playing a more focal point role as striker. And James dropping back in. As we see Tatton now on the ball, doing well. Back to Mackay. It's the return ball and launches it forward. Coming in from behind is Kayla Mason, sticking a long leg out and then passing it forward. Well cleared by Clifford. Nearly getting in on goal there. Was striding forward from the centre of the park was Alyssa Bowden. Turning is James. Getting it back. Tries to move it forward, but Maddie Graham getting a toe in. Furness can't quite hit Watkins on the left-hand side, and Zebras a huge rush to take this throw in, possibly some early time-wasting tactics.
Yeah, very early to be pulling that one out. Could be due, the lack of balls might be more to the...
Well, we've got all three back out for this first half, and let's hope someone's bothered to pump that other one up. Otherwise, it'll be chaos. I think you'll be down there to pump it up yourself if they screw that up again.
It wasn't so cold, absolutely. I'm quite happy up here under the grandstand as Georgia Burt works this one back to Graham. Back to Lucy McGregor. McGregor for Kayla Mason, sets her a task, but she's up to it. She comes slaloming through the midfield. Stretched and ended up making kind of a tackle pass. It worked pretty well in the end, but they've lost it eventually. Now Tatton on it for the Lions, looks up and shifts it across. A chance for them to get in behind. Delaney defending this one really well though. Worked it to Bowden. It's fantastic stuff there from Aaron Delaney. Now we'll look to get them started back the other way by picking out Morris. Morris finds Nichols. Nichols takes it around Mackay and then robs Clifford. She's still going here. Nichols pass just eludes Morris. Danger not past though. Morris tries to go straight between the legs. And having absolutely none of it there. Well defended. So the Lions put under a bit of pressure there. Zebras able to see it away. It was Dadswell making the challenge.
Stood strong there, Isabel Dadswell. Morris an opportunity to try and go around, but probably a little too cute. As Delaney takes the throw in. As far as McGregor. Searching ball, ends up with Burt. Beats the first challenge and tries to ride the second from James. That one hoofed forward, falls to Burt, who cannons it into Clifford. Eventually falls down, and Burt and Clifford still going at it. Clifford's managed to get past two. One of them can't quite get past a third. Baby Clifford. Archer. To Graham now. McGregor looking for a teammate and finds Bowden, who sprays it out wide to Delaney. Had a little bit of room to run in, but touch was gone inside. Morris all beaten out in the challenge by Furness. He's only really got one in front. And that's Tatton. Tries to keep the ball and beats one. Does Furness. Just getting back in defence. There's Aaron Delaney. Doing exceptionally well there. And the commentator's curse on that pass as it's gone right back to the Lions. Furness only finds Burt.
That last bit of play was a perfect example of why they're missing Laura Davis tonight. No one making that bursting run down the middle that she so excels at. She actually got the defence, looked up Furness and didn't really have anyone making that run. So had to hold up, and by that time the Zebras defence had scrambled back in coverage. And they've pushed Tatton onto that striking role, but they'll certainly lose something by not having her creativity in midfield. It's why there's such a good combination with Tatton supplying the ammunition for Davis up top. And very tough balancing act when Davis is absent.
It'll be interesting to see if they bring Davis on, whether it's at 2-0 or if Kingborough get one back, or whether they just deploy to put her on the bench and Zebra's wary and might be still a little too injured to get a run on.
Might be a break in case of emergency type situation, although it's not a cup game yet. Surely wouldn't be risking her if she was in any danger of injuring herself. So protect your star players like that. So I'm sure they won't be getting her out there unless she's right to go. Good to see her on the bench. I'll say I thought her season was done when she was carried off a couple of weeks ago. A nasty looking one. That's a really bad pass there from McGregor. Coughs it straight up to DeSmith. DeSmith threads it through, but again Kayla Mason, who's been fantastic in defence, won the ball away. She's turned it over though and Forced back there in defence was Archer. Concedes the corner.
Limping a little after that one is Archer. Had to make the challenge. And tick through 55 minutes, and Ayla Hickman will go across to take the corner. There's option short into Smith, who appears to be in a bit of space, although there's probably a player behind that pole, and there is. Hickman goes towards the centre, and Kayla Mason head is clear. Comes clear and rolling the defender again is Zoe Nichols. She has to do it all herself as she goes. Beat one and then beats two. Zoe Nichols still going. Gets on the right peg, tries to play the through ball. Rushing Lucy McGregor, who's made an enormous run from the corner. Couldn't quite get there. Zoe Nichols, though, jinking and weaving all through the Kingborough defence. And now Tatton gets past Mason, and then Delaney both clears it. He manages to leave the shoulder in. A 2 for 1 there from Erin Delaney.
Yeah, just zoomed past Mason there, which is a rare occurrence, and well covered by Delaney. Some action on the Lions bench. It's the number 4, but it's not the number 14, unfortunately, for Lions fans. It'll be Hennickman who's going to come on here. So we'll see who she's going to replace. It's like a change at the back, so will we see a shift in formation, perhaps, and the captain's armband also being removed there. So it's an interesting call there with Phoebe Clifford coming off. Strange, you must not be 100%. It'd be an odd call to sub out a centre back, I'd have thought. Yeah, you rarely see centre backs hold off not injured or not without a previous ailment, as we now see McGregor looking to burst forward, finds Burton nearly getting to it. He's the villain of the piece today, Gill. Now Lawson as well to win the throw-in. Lawson down the line to Watkins. Wins the header. Plenty of zebras to beat there in the centre of the park for James, and does quite well. Draw the pressure. So, down the line. Easing up to hit it away though. Back into the middle for Georgia Burt. Burt threads it forward for Nichols. Looks to roll the defender again, then slides it through. Wonderful ball in there for Morris. She's in on goal here. Great chance for Sarah Morris, who drives it wide, just lacking the composure there. Maybe took the shot on a little bit too early, I feel.
I don't think she wanted it on her left foot. Morris, so potentially took it maybe a stride too early than what she normally would have. And just got a bit too much of the laces rather than the instep, and always going in that direction as the short goal kick taken by Gardner. Oh, good pressure in the end, forcing another goal kick, but not letting him get out of their defensive half there is Bowden. We'll see if Gardner opts for the short goal kick again. Instead, trots over to the middle, so you're going to say this one is going long. And instead, just right into the lap of Melissa Bowden. Turned over, and Furness again striding forward from that defensive midfield position, really looking to push on in this second half. Delaney now down the left-hand side, good tracking back in the end from DeSmith. Delaney again tackles well. Got Nichols in the box, looking to roll the defender. Surely a foul off the ball from the Lions. Bowden was storming forward. And either a shirt pull or a bit of a nudge off the ball.
Yeah, Hickman just saw the bursting runs running onto that ball and said, no, I'm not letting you have a strike at this one. We'll set up the wall, then you can have a hit.
Normally Lucy Johnson territory, this one here, but still got some pretty good free kick takers in their lineup to the Zebras.
Yeah, Georgia Burt, very good over the dead ball. She's hovering over this one. Zoe Nichols wandering about, and I reckon just wondering, might try and convince her just to take the shot on, and you can expect her to follow up and see if there's anything left on the doorstep. if that is the approach that Burt goes with. She does indeed. No scraps to feed on as Gill came charging in there to the box, but comfortably held at a good height for the keeper, that one. As a quick release for Lawson. Heavy touch. The Zebras just let that one roll out of play there, Bowden. There's Graham to take the throw in. Now Lucy McGregor. McGregor takes it past one, then threads it through looking for the run of Nichols, but just overhit it slightly. Gathered by Gardner.
No real option quick for Gardner. She was looking for a throw or just to try and get the ball moving. Eventually Delaney heads that one clear. At least they got some distance from that, did the Lions, and we'll see the Zebras first sub of the match. And I'm assuming by the Woos it's Monique Undy making an appearance, and yes it is. Monique Undy coming on for, I think that's Jane Archer heading off. So 2 subs and 2 centre backs off. You don't see that too often.
No, not too often. Just returning from the World Cup, Monique
Yes.
Undy makes a return after a World Cup appearance. Her brother will also be making a return for Olympia tomorrow. So the Undies back in the local competitions. That's quite a way to welcome yourself back. Just remind the Lions of how uncompromising a defender she can be. And she's black.
Yes.
Strong challenge.
Clearly got that one from the Russian police over there, I think.
Yeah, I'm not opening up that can of worms. The Sish ones work to the top of the box. Mason showing good anticipation again. Got there first. Gill up against James, and James just turned up. And now it charges off towards goal. Lucy McGregor gets a foot in. Gill picks it back up and tried to take it past Lawson unsuccessfully.
Had enough issues with Russians here at Slice of Cheese lately without me digging my foot into it. It was going taken by Graham towards Gill. And he turns it over. Lovely instep there from Hickman. Again, Tatton not quite being able to play off the last defender there and just having to look back are the Lions. Watkins was the intended target, who's, no, I don't think they've had to call in this second half so far.
They need to find a way to get her more involved as they work it there, but she's unable to trap it, but she's
left out on an island out there just about this second half.
got to find a way to get her involved. She's such a key mover for this team, as is Zoe Nichols for the Zebras, trying to make things happen. Morris charging after this one and works it back to Georgia Burt. All the players sucked up into this tiny little section of the ground. Plenty of width. If anyone wants to make a run wide, eventually Delaney bombs on the fullback, trying to use some of that space, but will be out of play for a throw in to be taken by Delaney. Now we see Morris offering in short there and using a little bit more of the width. Very narrow there for a moment. Delaney hits Morris's feet. And coming in there was DeSmith, and Morris just making your presence felt.
Very Warrior Park-esque there for a couple of minutes there. No one really looking to use the wide confines here in Glenorchy. There's Delaney attempting to get a bit of a drier ball for the throw-in. Looks forward to Nichols, turns well, turns again. Threads it through to McGregor, who's striding forward. Hit first time by Burt, well deflected Nichols. Good defence in the end. I think that's Iska Mackay, and Tatton manages to turn past Delaney, and again, only really with the one option down the line in DeSmith. Tries to get the return ball in front of Kayla Mason and manages to beat absolutely everyone in the Zebras defence. Maddie Graham will put that one into touch. Again, we were talking about it about 5 minutes ago, just needing that run of Laura Davis up on the front line just to stretch to the defence and create a bit more space.
And the Zebras looking fairly comfortable at the moment. The Lions need a spark from somewhere. Chasing this game, 2 goals down, a handball there, not going to help them in that endeavour. Give Graham the opportunity to maybe launch the diagonal if someone wants to make a run down the left wing here. Obviously the wind's blowing quite stiffly almost across in that direction. So perhaps that's the reason why everything's been down the far side of the ground. McGregor steps in, couldn't dispossess Furness. Gill stepping in, Furness keeps going though. And sends it down the line for Watkins, but again, Kayla Mason showing her anticipation, just using the wheels she's got there at the back just to get across in coverage. Consummate display from her so far.
Yeah, well, I was talking before about how I think in an ideal world her right back's probably her best position. Very, very good at centre back, particularly covering other defenders and making that last-ditch challenge, which we saw in the first half as Kingborough trying to get the ball into the box, and eventually they do, but it'll roll out a play for a goal kick. And whilst Kingborough have certainly not been too outplayed in this game, a real lack of shots on target produced from them. I haven't got the stats in front of me, but I'd be surprised if it's more than one or two.
I'll get Molly to have a look at them for you.
No, that's all right. As the goal kick will be taken. And right as far as the Kingborough player, Tatton, manages to lay it back well, and the team effort in the end from well out from Hickman. Will give Ponting an opportunity to punt it forward. Morris.
Punt at Ponting, are you suggesting there, Paul?
I am suggesting punt at Ponting there.
0 shots on target, to answer your question.
Yeah, seems about right. As Watkins now on the ball, running at a defender for the first time in this half, and gets a toe in. Does Matty Graham, just keeps it in. I think Mason manages to win the throw-in eventually. It will go Zebra's way. The assistant referee at halfway making the call on that one.
Yeah, 3 off target. I suppose the best couple of chances, that one that went, we weren't sure if it was a save initially or not, across the face, and probably their best chances when Tatton stormed into the box and they didn't get a shot on because Mason made that huge sliding challenge. That's probably been their best look in this game so far, and certainly a couple of shots from distance from Zebras have been optimistic, to say the best. You would expect them to score, so they're out-chancing them slightly, but significantly. But, tellingly, Zoe Nichols has taken a couple of them and has looked the class player on the pitch tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. As the throw-in taken down the line. Again, trying to roll the defender. Zoe Nichols. Real signature piece of her play, Zoe Nichols. Throw-in taken, but it falls only to a swarm of Kingborough players who somehow Maddie Graham just about manages to win the throw-in despite there being 3 Lions players surrounding her. Taken quickly and falls to Bowden. There's 2 in the box, Alyssa Bowden. Alex just to win the throw-in on this occasion. Taking again Nichols, just harassing the defence, and James clears. And as far as aforementioned Graham, Hennican's all around the ball on that side there. Mawson eventually knocks it clear. And just see that wind picking up a bit more there as we see Australia flag flying in the wind. Taken down the line. Burt dispossessed. And again, just missing the foot of Tatton. Monique Undy stroking that one. Lucy McGregor. It's a pretty aimless ball in the direction of Hickman. Monique Undy. A little bit of pressure there from Tatton, and Mason again does what she does best and mops up in defence. Bowden out to Graham. Up in front to Zoe Nichols. And again, that wonderful turn from Zoe Nichols. Sprays it out wide, but well intercepted.
It's the Super League version, really, of Arjen Robben. You know exactly what she's going to do every single time she gets the ball, but doesn't mean you're going to be able to stop it. As Georgia Burt steps in front of Tatton and wins it back nicely. Drops it back to Undy. Now Mason. Mason sends it further afield looking for Graham. It just looks like Gill and Graham have switched up positions for the time being, with Graham pushing on attack. Here's Nichols after the hat-trick. Gardner's out, deflects it in, and Nichols and just wide of the post. Well, it would have been a fortunate way to get the hat-trick, but it wasn't far off being just that.
No, it wasn't far off from Zoe Nichols. It's probably the more flukier of her goals, if it was to have rolled in. Sticking the leg out to stopping Olivia Gardner's clearance. And again, I think we've actually just hit double figures in terms of fans behind the goal, so full credit to those in that area. Amazing what you do for a designated wet area.
Yeah, I guess that is the appeal of that area. I was just saying, why would you not either be A inside or B up in the stand? But I guess there's that. But yeah, hardy souls is the terms I think we're after there. Definitely a night for the grandstand as Bowden works at forward. Zoe Nichols just hanging off.
This wonderful
shoulder.
Grandstand we're blessed with here at Kingborough Fifth Park.
Oh yeah, it's comfort.
Real state of the art.
Oh, isn't it just?
I was at the Ricky Ponting stand on Tuesday afternoon, and I don't know which one was more luxurious.
Yeah, it's almost as if one sport gets a disproportionate amount of funding more than us or something.
Especially when, based on overall participation numbers, it's crazy.
Well, one would have thought that maybe some dollars might have been flung this way, but alas not. Maybe one day, maybe someone will make themselves a hero in the footballing community and give us the facilities the game deserves, Paul.
Yeah, exactly, and maybe, one sport might not have a dedicated parliamentary committee and all sports might have one. You never know. You never know.
One could dream, Paul. Was the rain continuing to team down here. Gill launching it to McGregor. To Rachel Gill. Chips it down the line. This will be corralled at the back though. Well, the substitute in Hennickman.
What are we going? Hennicam?
Handicam. Here's Tatton. Charging the defence. Drops the shoulder and runs past Delaney. Good work here from Tatton. Kayla Mason across and then firing over the top was Hickman. But Tatton making things happen. And again, it was Mason who was called upon. It's across and just deals with her.
Doing what the Zebras defenders do best, I think, their opposing numbers.
Some wrecking balls out there to see.
Let's hope is that evil official. I think third ball is finally being used here in the second half, so fingers crossed. As Mason launches that one only as far as Sammy Watkins, who again moves centrally, hopefully try and get him more on the ball. Dadswell looking to attack. Goes back inside to Furness. Oh, not quite the call given to James. Given away to Dadswell, who's now got a pocket of space here on the near side, directing traffic. Looks centrally and getting in the way is Kayla Mason once again. It's been a constant theme of this match so far. James trying to get the overlapping run to go around Graham. Nothing doing there, and will now fall to Morris. Zoe Nichols again doing her Ian Robin-esque one trick there, but not quite to this avail this time. Searching ball looking for DeSmit, who's moved out to the far side. Rolls out harmlessly for a throw-in, taken quickly only as far as James. Georgia Burt looking to battle and win the ball back, which she does. Monique Undy out to Delaney. Well intercepted and just thumped clear in the end from Ishka Mackay. No nonsense type clearance there. As we tick into the past 74 minutes here in this match. Zebras still 2-0 up, and Kingborough no shots on target so far, so it'll take something pretty special for them to get back into this match. Dadswell. But there's Tatton, who's got the line admirably so far in this second half. Dadswell just managing to win that one off Morris in that quite physical tussle. I think it's just because Dadswell picked the ball up and had it in a hand, they've given her the throw-in. The referee wasn't really quite sure which way to give that.
Well, when the referee isn't sure, as he clearly wasn't then, it's a very good way of getting the call your way.
Just take it.
Basic psychology, you're probably more likely to go, well, they seem to be in the right positions and changing something you're not sure of. Very clever stuff there from Dadswell. Played the system nicely. It's going to be a throw in the Zebras' way eventually anyway, though. Erin Delaney. Time running out for the Kingborough Lions. 15 minutes left in regulation. Trailing by 2 goals in this one. Shouldered in the end by Morris. Back down to Tatton. Tatton trying to combine with Watkins, the 2 key movers in attack. Kayla Mason, as she often does, playing that sweeping role. And allows this one to run through. Brought down by McGregor. Back to Burt. Now Undy. Carrying the ball out of defence on her return. Showing some slight rust there as she misplaces that one there for Delaney, but a couple of situation and Morris works it forward. No pressure at the back here though for the substitute Hennecum. Back to Gardner. Gardner assessing her options. Eventually settles on chipping it wide in the direction there of DeSmith. Good foot in from Bowden. And pressure from Georgia Burt. Furness will win the throw in.
Gardner just confidently striding out of the 18-yard box at will and just stroking that ball forward. Good composure from the goalkeeper as Watkins now really trying to get on the ball, but Georgia Burt sticking a foot in and pushing her backwards and continuing to harass. Little nutmeg there. Back to McGregor. Left that a little short for Delaney and it might fall here, but again Monique Undy, a little bit of rust but not too much as Hickman now on the ball looking for the run of Tatton, inside ball. Hasn't really got a whole lot of options in the box, does Tatton. And again Kayla Mason, a crunching challenge to put that out for a corner. Saw a couple of the Lions defenders there, players admiring that challenge.
Yeah, full stretch makes another key block. She's been very busy in defence tonight, Mason. And another crucial block there. Keep the lead at 2-0 as the rain getting heavier and heavier. Hickman to take this one. She sends it in near post. It's going to be another corner, I think. No, goal kick in the end. And that's probably about all it deserved in truth.
Yeah, very interesting. 2 Kingborough players making a run to the byline in front of the goal. I'm not really sure what you can expect them to do just based on angles.
Far too much hustle going on here from Casey Ponting. You've got a 2-0 lead.
I think she's trying to keep warm.
Look, fair play to her if that's the case. Actually, yeah, that's fair. She wouldn't have been doing a lot.
And also for the keeper, I mean, they're usually in trousers, in long sleeve. To be in the t-shirt and shorts, it's pretty bold stuff there from Casey Ponting. I'd be fully rubbed up if I had the opportunity.
Yeah, I do wonder if maybe Kayla Mason stole a keeping kit.
Yep.
It's a possibility, but no, really.
Pulled a Swifty and already had it on, and you're not going to get rechanged again.
No, the lack of the long sleeves tonight, that's madness, Paul. That is as mad as hustling with a 2-goal lead.
Especially for a position where aerobic running isn't, you can have periods where you can stand within your 6-yard box and not move for a little while.
Yeah,
bold.
Can be that way, and certainly not a night for spectating out there as the Lions looking to get back in it. They're having a good little spell here. DeSmith tried to turn inside, but again, it was Mason on hand to win the ball away. Imperious stuff at the back. And time quickly becoming an enemy here.
Here's the throw in. Taken quickly towards James. Falls to Hickman. Pressure from Monique Undy. Striding forward and winning the ball. Sends it out wide to Morris, who has a fair bit of room to play with, but not too many teammates, unfortunately. Eventually finds Lucy McGregor. Puts centre back under it, all sorts of pressure. Sarah Morris, bit of an armbar there on Dadswell, just shielding her away from the ball. Finds McGregor. Just misplaces the pass to Burt. Falls to Furness, now Tatton. Just controlling that one with the outside of the left, and Monique Undy gallivant forward. Finds Morris, who tries to turn Dadswell and eventually does. Istra Mackay coming across the second defender to help out and turns her as well. Now another nutmeg for Morris. There must be some kind of nutmeg count going on here at Zebras, because there's about 2 in a row there from Morris. I mean, when you're 2-0 up and As Chris Hayes running on the field.
The Zebras,
That's usually a flag and 15 yards in a different sport.
the Zebras are where they've got the lead in this game, Paul.
I'm not sure.
Just far too much hustle going on here for a team with a
Why,
2-goal lead.
why is the coach running onto the field to give the ball back? I don't know.
As Nichols turns and looks to hit a hat-trick with a curler from range that rises over the top. Didn't quite have the dip on it. There was one thought on her mind as soon as she picked that one up.
Great turn and shot from Zoe Nichols, and I'll give full credit to that in a minute. But what is with the hustle of Hobart Zebras? I've really got to try and see if the scoreboard's malfunctioned or something and turned the wrong way. They've got the old home and away teams around the wrong way or something, because I have no idea why there's so much hustle from Ponting and Hay. We're trying to play forward the Kingborough Lions. Actually win the throw in as the rain gets heavier here in tropical Glenorchy. Lawson heading forward. Throw in taken. Well beaten out McGregor. Again now McGregor. Nice ball from Bowden. Nice hit. Complete shank there from Ishka Mackay, but it falls to Dadswell. There's a willing runner in front in Tatton and then goes inside, but slightly overhit. Hickman, who's just crept more further forward throughout the match, started in defensive mid and just gradually working her way up the park in this second half as Undy still playing out some of that rust after a sojourn to Russia.
This one's throwing down the line. Delaney getting the toe in. And then Delaney storming onto the ball well. Nichols had dropped in short, so she gathers it. Turns it in a little bit of trouble, and then a ball pass back inside, turns it over. Nichols still hustling away there as James plays it across to Furness. Furness back outside for Dadswell, returns it to Watkins. Now James, and work it forwards. A bit of an up and under from Gill. Mason with a tough one to negotiate. And eventually decides safety first and hooks that one away.
And part of me really wanted Casey Ponting to come out and pick that up for the indirect free kick 6 yards out from goal. Do like a good crazy situation like that.
Yeah.
Well cleared in the end in the more conventional manner.
I've only seen one of them this year, I think, and it was, probably shouldn't have been given. It was time wasting against Giansopoulos, if I remember correctly, and everyone was like, hang on a sec. Why is there an injury free kick? Well, play on. Nothing happened. That's the only one I can remember this year. It's
Was that down this end, Zebras Lobby City?
It was up at Valley Road. It was truly one of the strangest moments of the season, and that is saying something.
That is saying something.
In a year where we've had balaclava-clad figures climbing step ladders and resting bananas in fences.
Yep.
That's a very hotly contested category. There's a free kick blown.
More contentious than any goal or save of the year contest this year so far, I would say. We had it. I mean, usually something like a keeper throw-in is enough to get, tongues talking in terms of obscure, which I had last week down at the Kingborough NPL game. Had a keeper throw-in. Nick O'Connell.
Oh,
Yes. If I
it's outstanding.
wasn't too busy with work, it'd be public fairly soon.
It's outstanding.
Spoiler alert, there was a keeper throw-in. Myself and our stats man were very excited up in the media box.
Yeah, that's got Alt Guide written all over it, doesn't it? That's the whole reason for those existence. So, inside at the final few moments here, it's the Zebras looking pretty comfortable in their 2-goal lead. The Lions need to find something soon to just a little bit of fear in them towards the end of this one, but they're getting on with the job pretty well. Now the Zebras.
Noticing doesn't look like Laura Davis is going to be risked for Kingborough tonight.
Probably fair enough too.
Yeah.
Especially now that it's 2-0. I mean,
We'll just give her mild hypothermia by making her sit on the bench all half instead.
She got a run on the field earlier. She randomly walked out with the starting lineup. So Zoe Nichols is tearing off into the box here. It's Nichols, opts to cross, and that one was shut down by the substitute, Hennecum. And the Zebras on the attack here, and now taking the appropriate amount of time to take a throw in.
Just checking that scoreboard's correct while we've got the opportunity to turn the camera around.
Delaney. This is more like it. This is the experienced professional, Erin Delaney, soaking the seconds off the clock and throws this one to Morris. He couldn't find a way around Dadswell. Is it further afield, but they've turned it over here. Delaney works it to McGregor. Lucy McGregor shaping to shoot from range. Would have been better off trying to thread that one through for Graham, I think. Very ambitious effort. There's some action on the bench here. Sophie Green looks like she's going to come on for the Lions. Delaney might just give her that opportunity. Didn't quite have enough pepper to go out. Instead, played it to Tatton. Tatton running at Monique Undy, who just steps into a path. And free kick there, blown to Emile Tatton.
Been a very clean contest here tonight. There's really no one in any real danger of picking up any cheddar or gouda or the like.
It's been a pretty good flowing contest, and not too much in that department. As Dadswell kills it to the top of the box. Watkins, this is looking dangerous. Hickman in there. Burt tries to clear, falls back for Watkins with a snapshot, parried away by Ponting. It's as close as the Lions have come. Good piece of keeping in the end, one that should be kept out, but doing the job was Ponting. Watkins unable to give her side a late lifeline. This one's chipped for by Dadswell. Delaney heads it away. The Zebras under some pressure here at the moment. Dadswell, well, that'll relieve the pressure. She puts a ball in dispute there, straight into Zoe Nichols' path. Nichols across to Bowden. She's got Graham to her right in that direction, but comfortably dealt with at the back by the Lions, who try to turn defence into attack. And if Tatton's onside, she's got a great chance here. It's Emile Tatton round the keeper. Emile Tatton surely must score. And Emile Tatton is denied by Kayla Mason from the clouds.
Ran it too wide there, Emile Tatton. Got around the keeper really well, and I think just slightly overhit it. Kayla Mason taking some deep breaths after that one. And it just must have skidded off the pitch a bit, as you'd think about there is where she'd hit it, and then slips over as she goes to hit it. I'm not sure Mason actually ended up saving that one. I think Dadswell still wins defender save of the evening.
Yeah, definitely is some concern here for Tatton, who immediately started clutching at that knee, which is not a great sign. That's real salt in the wounds there. It's a great chance for a goal, and you cop an injury in the process.
Yeah, absolutely. Seemed to have the goal at her mercy there in the end. But we'll have another short delay in play here. That's resulting in a very, very cold incoming substitute, Sophie Green. And it's a bit of cruel on her jump. Trying to shake that body warm down there at the halfway line. I think it's eventually it's going to give up on that one. And as we see Tatton back to her feet. Walking off under her own steam in the end. In the end, Tatton seems to be the substitute. Probably just trying to keep Sophie Green warm in the end. It's the best policy. Indeed, Tatton is off and Green is coming on as confirmed that Mason didn't make that save in the end, and Tatton hit it wide as Mason takes the goal kick and just hits it right down the throat of a Kingborough player. Beats one, but then that wonderful challenge again from Kayla Mason. And it's been a true feature of the evening here. I wonder if that person walking on the rocks on the far side has realised Markage won't be there this week.
Yeah, look, it's not the location to be this week. Touchline man obviously having expired. Back on the bench this evening as this one's played across there. Furness and one back by the Zebras. Zoe Nichols was making the run but couldn't quite pick her out. She's sniffing about for that hat-trick. Long left here to try and find it. Dadswell plays it for Hickman. Into the middle, Lucy McGregor. McGregor on the left, couldn't find Graham. He's now switched over to the left wing.
Playing wherever she wants this evening, Maddie Graham. I don't often see someone go from right back to left wing.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a shift. There's McGregor with a lovely touch to get around Dadswell, then plays it back inside, but Nicely broken up there, and the Lions can try and spring the counter-attack here. It's Furness. Hickman's just spread herself wide into a good little bit of space here. Can she track this one down? It was put way out in front of her. Just gets there in time. Gets to the byline and swings in across. Mason attacked it. Didn't quite deal with it though. And eventually she'll be able to steer it away to McGregor, who just waltzes round one. And then looks up and looks to thread it through again, looking for the run of Graham. Successfully, Nichols stepping in. James. Wide for Hickman. Has been prominent in this last 20 minutes. She plays that one in there and got her feet a bit mixed up there, Mason, but ended up dealing with it regardless. And we'll be able to chip this one out there in the Morris direction. Lays it back for Gill. Played the immediate return pass, which I think Morris was looking for, so she's now making a lung-busting run. Back up there. And he's a bit of danger at the other end. Zoe Nichols searching for that hat-trick and just sensing an opportunity for a second. It was a near disaster at the back there.
Tired bodies out there from both sides, playing in pretty heavy conditions here at KG5. And now the Zebras, Delaney in control here, no rush to take this throw in as we well into added time. Down the line to Graham. Falls to Nichols. McGregor beaten out in the end, and it will fall to Hickman, and that is the full-time whistle here. KG5, a fairly comfortable victory for the Hobart Zebras. A goal in each half to Zoe Nichols, making them 2-0 victors, and probably deservedly on the night, Andrew.
Yeah, I think the Zebras fully deserved the win. They were the better team. They created more chances. Zoe Nichols outstanding, gets both the goals. We'll have a look at them quickly before we just take a short little break with the second of this double header. The second game coming up. These two same clubs playing in the NPL Tasmania. Zebras and Lions, part 2 of the Safari Derby heading your way. But we'll just have a look at Zoe Nichols again, just with that turn. The turn inside, the clinical finish, that was 2-0. And from there, they never looked troubled. We'll be back in around about 10 minutes' time with game number 2.